Aryaatitara Sivara Dhagavarisa Gugayil Arivairami Paramattuman Arunachala Ramanan Parivalulam Uruganala Paranarndidu Guhayarnd Arivam Vilitiravai Nisamarivai அது வெளியாம் அண்ணாமலையாய் அடியேனை ஆண்ட அன்றே ஆவியுடல் கொண்டாய் எனக்கோர் குறையுண்டோ குறையும் குணமும் நீ அல்லால் என்னேன் இவற்றை என் உயிரே எண்ணம் எதுவோ அது செய்வாய் கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினையிற் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினையிற் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே ஓம் அதிமதுர சாபஹஸ்தாம் अपरिमितां मोदभान सौभाग्यां अरुणां अतिशय करुणां अभिनव कुलसुंदरीं वंदे ओम ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं Shri Arunachalam. In the deep sleep state, there is no mind, there are no experiences, there is no world. In the waking and in the dream, there is mind. There are experiences. There is the perception of the world. So therefore, Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi concludes, this world is nothing but just mind's projection. Mind is nothing but thoughts. Without thoughts, there is no mind. Therefore, the world what we are perceiving is nothing but our own thoughts, or it's just manomayam. So the world is nothing but the mind's projection. So when the mind rises, there is world. When the mind subsides, there is no world. So, when the mind is made quiet or it subsides in the heart, then this world is removed. When the world is removed, what remains is a self. This is what Bhagavan was trying to say yesterday. So, we have been seeing till 8th verse, right? Yes. 8th question. So, what is the nature of the mind? That's what we have seen. So when the mind rises from the heart, when it sees the world, we get lost in the world. We get distracted by the world. So the self is not apprehended. When we are not distracted by the world, when the world is removed in samadhi, when the mind abides in the heart, then the self shines of its own. So therefore, now we have to find out how to handle this mind or transcend this mind. To know the self, we have to transcend the mind. See, there is no point in just controlling the mind. See, initially, the seekers are asked, control the mind, to make it one-pointed. But after gaining some maturity, it is advised that one has to transcend the mind. The best way to transcend the mind is not to identify with the mind. Meaning, not to think it is my mind. I have nothing to do with the mind. Whatever happens, happens. I have nothing to do with the mind. So this is how udhasinavad asina. When a person remains indifferent towards the world and its happenings, towards the mind and its play, when he completely detaches himself from the mind, then the mind subsides. Since because we are meddling with the mind, mind is alive. When we don't meddle with the mind, saying, I have nothing to do with you, I have nothing to do with the mind, then the mind subsides. So this is the maturity, spiritual maturity. Not to identify with the body or the mind. Then you are your own self. There is nothing needs to be done. If you don't identify with the body mind, there is nothing needs to be done. When you try to do something, then you are caught again in the samsara. Now, when you come to Bhagavan, he has got a unique technique of how to transcend the mind. Now, here he says, what is referred to as a self is the Atman. The mind always exists only in dependence on something gross. It cannot stay alone. It is a mind that is called as a subtle body or the soul, jiva. So till this point we have seen yesterday. Now moving on to the 9th question. What is the path of inquiry for understanding the nature of the mind? So here the question is asked, Bhagavan, you have been talking about this, who am I? Who am I? The self-inquiry. What is the nature of this inquiry? How to go about? Now Bhagavan, he reveals the essence of Atma Vichar. He says here, that which rises as I in this body is the mind. See, traditional Vedanta Shastra defines the Antakarana as, this Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara and all. But when you come to Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, he has got a unique way of approaching things. He considers the Antakarana to be these 4 different things. For him, that which rises as I in the body is the mind. If one inquires as to where in the body the thought rises first, one would discover that it rises in the heart. That is the place of the mind's origin. We all have got this notion or this idea that I'm Swamiji Ramana Swaroopananda, I'm an Acharya, I'm this, I'm that. I had gone there today afternoon. See, every day we talk about this I. But when somebody asks you to find out what is the I, then we say, what are you asking? I don't know. How to go about? Bhagavan says, that which rises as I in this body is the mind. See, please be here very careful. It will not say I. It will not say I. Then if you are a Tamilian, it should say nan. If you are a Hindi fellow, you should say me. If you are a Sanskrit person, aham. It is not any sound. There is a feeling that I. Everybody has got this idea. I am smart. No, I am intelligent. I am this, I am that. I. So he says, if one inquires as to where in the body the thought I rises first, where this idea of I is rising, you find out. Nobody can help you. You have to find out. From where this is rising. This is self-inquiry. It is not just asking, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And it's not saying, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. Then who am I? I am Sachidananda Swarupam, Soham. This is not inquiry. Bhagavan says very clearly. Though in Vedanta Shastra it is said, this is a way of, contemplating. But according to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, according to him, the self-inquiry is not just asking this question, who am I? And parroting an answer, saying that I am not the body, I am not the mind. Then who am I? I am Sachidananda Swarupam, Aham Brahmasmi. This is not self-inquiry. He says, பேச்சு மூச்சு அடக்கிக் கொண்டு ஆழ்ந்து அறிய வேண்டுமறி. Pechu muchu adakikondu. You should not utter a word. Pechu muchu means not breathing, means not it's not to breathe. It is one-pointed attention. We have to give attention and try to find out where this I thought is rising from the heart, from where it is rising. This is the crux of self-inquiry. So it is giving attention. It is giving attention to the self. Whatever you understand about the self. Whether you want to follow this path, which is simple and direct, just to give attention to the self and then to discover the truth, or you want to study everything, the Prakarana Granthas, Viveka Chudamani, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and all the other Panchadashi, these, that, everything, and then break your head, and then you discuss, analyze, understand, and then you know what? Mahavakya Upadesha, Jahal Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana, Jahal Lakshana, this, that. Or you just give attention to the self. Choice is yours. It is so simple to give attention to the self. Because you're always with the own self. No? It is just giving attention. Nothing else needs to be done. And then he says, one who discovered that it rises in the heart. This I rises in the heart, he says. Here, be careful. It is not the heart which he is referring as a blood pumping heart. No. It is spiritual heart, he says. Hridayam. Hridayam. See, when you split this word Hridayam, Ayam means this. Hrid means the center, meaning the center of the whole universe. Where is it? Within you. Why? Wherever the thoughts rises, that is the center of the whole universe. Why? The universe is nothing but thoughts. So from where the thoughts are rising, that is Hridayam. In Hridaya Vidya, Bhagavan points out, in the right of your chest, rendu viral kadai, 2 fingers this way, he says that is the spiritual heart. And he says, when you inquire, you will find that all the thoughts subsiding into that center, the spiritual heart, he says. Bhagavan talks about this heart again and again. Even in Upanishad, the idea of heart comes, Hridayam comes. Then somebody asked, Bhagavan, what is the Pramana? Where is it written? In Upanishads or in Vedas, where is it written about this Hridaya? He said, it is my Anubhava, he said. And then somebody gave to him and he referred, there is a text, I suppose in Ayurveda, in Kerala, in Ayurveda, so one text it is mentioned about this Hridayam, it seems. The spiritual heart. So he talks about the spiritual heart where all the thoughts subside. And in Ulladinarpada Anubandham, he talks about this Hridaya Vidya only. He says, though it is pointed out a place in the physical body, it is not. He says it is something deeper. It cannot be defined with space and time. It is something else. So that's what he says. So if you try to find out where this I thought is rising, you will find everything subsides and everything rises from the heart. That you yourself can find out. And then, see here what he's saying. Even if one thinks constantly, one will be led to that place. Once there was a very elderly Amma cooking in the kitchen when Bhagavan was alive, when he was there. He was a very lay person, not knowing much about scriptures or anything, but very devoted to Bhagavan. Sometimes Bhagavan also goes into the kitchen and helps. He also cooks. He's a very good cook actually. So that elderly Amma one day asked Bhagavan, this self-inquiry is very difficult for me. I don't understand anything. Shall I do japa of I, nan, 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 nan? Will it take me there? Out of compassion, Bhagavan said, yes. He said, yes. You just chant nan, nan, nan means in Tamil. In English, I, let us say. I. Like japa you do. That also will take you, he says. He said to that Amma also, now also here he has written, na? Even if one thinks constantly, I, one will be led to that place. Place is where? The heart. So, நான் சதா சர்வகாலமும் நான் நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தாலே நான்ல போய் சேர்த்துருவேன். நான் யார், நான் உதிக்கும் இடம் எது, அதில் போய் சேர்த்து. But that is not the spirit of self-inquiry. But he has given a concession. If you don't understand what is self-inquiry, don't worry. Even if you chant I, it will lead you to that place, means to that heart, spiritual heart, from where all the thoughts are rising. But the spirit of the self-inquiry is to find out, giving the attention within to find out, nan. There is an idea, I, from where it is rising. It is very, very subtle. Nobody can help you. This much only one can reveal. Rest, you have to experiment. You have to find out. And I tell you, it is not difficult. Only thing is we don't try. We block ourselves saying it is all vague. I don't understand. It is abstract. I don't know what to do. See? We block ourselves. Maito Baba, I think surrender is easy. This Atma Vichara is difficult. Surrender is not easy. Our ego is so strong. Surrender is not easy. Ennam yaduvo adu seivai. Oh Lord, whatever is your will, let that happen. Are we able to give it up like that? We can't. So therefore, he says, just give your attention where this I thought is rising. Udikkum idamedu. Uditta idathil odungi iruttal. Adu kannam bhaktiyum mundi para. Adu yogam jnanam mundi para. So abide in the origin, the source, where the I is arising. This is Bhagavan's Atma Vichara. Of all the thoughts that arise in the mind, the I thought is the first. It is only after the rise of this that the other thoughts arise. It is after the appearance of the first personal pronoun that the second and third personal pronouns appear. Without the first personal pronoun, there will not be the second and the third. So this idea we have to understand. After the thought I arises, then only everything else rises. How? See, the thoughts cannot arise somewhere in the mid-air. Thoughts cannot arise somewhere. It can arise only to a conscious entity. Is that not so? The thoughts can arise only to a conscious entity. Can the thought rise to this laptop? We don't know. Thoughts can arise only to a conscious entity. That is I, me. Likewise, you can say, thoughts can arise only to me. You can say like that. So, the thoughts can arise only to a conscious entity. That conscious entity is called as I, here. So, only when the I arises, all the other thoughts can rise. Actually speaking, God is not the center of the universe. I am the center of the universe. Why? We go to God for what? Oh God, protect me. Oh God, Please help me to achieve this, to achieve that. So we go to God not for God's sake, for our sake. We are only concerned about ourselves. If there is a God who cannot protect you, who cannot give anything to you in this world or in the other world, will you ever go to that God? No, please think about this. Actually, we go to God not for God's sake. For our sake only we go to God. Who cares about God if He is not giving anything to me? If He is not going to help me? That's why I always tell, we use God as pickle to enjoy this life. Actually speaking, God is not the center of the universe. I am the center of the universe. I am concerned only about myself. Why we go to astrologer, Satra Karan? What will happen to me? Please tell me. What will happen to you? Nothing will happen to you. Why? You are Brahman. See, we are so concerned about ourselves or our own people around us. Mine, see, our own people. So these people are also extension of our own self only. We see them as extension of our own self. I tell you, we are not concerned about anything or anybody. We are concerned only about ourselves. When we are not well, we go to God for good health. When we want more money, we go to God. When we want to know for this knowledge, we go to God. Is that not so? We want moksha, we go to God. I want moksha, therefore I go to God. This is fascinating. Actually speaking, we are only concerned about ourselves. So I am the center of the universe. Not anybody else. சும்மா பேச்சுக்கு வேணா சொல்லலாம், oh, I care for everybody. No, I care only for myself. Think about it deeply. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. So this I is the center of the universe. What I mean is this ego, ahankara, the self, ahankaric self, that is only asserting, that wants to protect itself, its image, that gets attached to few people which it considers they are conducive to my existence. They give me happiness. So I live only for myself. I. And because of this I suffer also. So try to find out what is this I which is creating this havoc and which is center of the universe, center of the existence. Why I want to become a great scientist? Because I want to be respected, honored, everything. I want to be recognized. Everything. So therefore, when you inquire, what is this I? This is a real inquiry. And Bhagavan says, only after the I arises, everything rises. See, in certain films also they show now, the hero will meet with an accident. He is admitted to the hospital. He gets up. Where am I? If he has gone little this thing, he will say, who am I? Who am I? Where am I? What is the time? See how it comes. Where am I? Space. What is the time now? Time. And before that, I rises. I am. And this I is nothing but your memory only. Memory means what? Whatever experience you have gone through, this என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, cumulative, this thing of those experiences only we consider as I. See, one day what happened, we conducted this experiment in a youth class. I asked a young person to come and asked him, now you introduce yourself, but you should not refer to the past. You introduce yourself. Yeah, I asked him. He said, I'm so and so, he said, his name. I said, how do you know? Your father and mother has named you, but in the past. Now tell me, who are you? Then I studied this. I am, PhD. Oh, no. That is in the past. Now introduce yourself. My father, mother. No. Now you introduce yourself without referring to the past. Without referring to the past, we cannot introduce ourselves at all. You cannot introduce yourself as I'm a man also. Why? You remember what is man, what is woman, then that's why you are saying I'm a man. That is why people who go into dementia, they forget about everything. They can't even say who they are. So actually, we are nothing but our past memories. So if you don't think about the past, no ego. If you don't think about the past, there is no future. See, think about all these things. So therefore, who is this I? What am I? So this is the inquiry. According to Bhagavan, you have to find out by giving attention from where this I is rising. Without the I, nothing rises. Because in the deep sleep, there is no I. Therefore, there is nothing. But when you come up into the waking on the dream, there comes this I, this personality. Then comes everything. I am good, I am bad, I am this, I am that. So this is self-inquiry, because when you resolve this question of who am I, when you know who you are really, then everything is resolved. How? You will find that there is nothing other than the self. Whatever we perceive as the world is nothing but the self only. Whatever you thought about as God is nothing but the self only. There is nothing other than the self. This is the discovery of our great rishis, great Mahatmas. There is nothing other than the self. See, now our idea is there is consciousness, there is spirit and the matter. It is a play of spirit and the matter. When you discover yourself, you will find there is only spirit, consciousness, there is no matter. How? We don't know how. It's only imagined. This chit jada, granthi is only imagined. Actually, it was never ever. There is only the self, only the consciousness. What happened to the jada, the inert matter? Nobody knows. That's why Adi Shankara Vivekananda asks, hey, I was seeing the world even till now. Who has taken it away? Who has taken it away? He asks. Vivekananda asks, who has taken this world away? Meaning what? That is only self. How come, Swami? We do not know what is our self. That is why we doubt it. The self is not this body mind. It is something else. So when you don't resolve this seeker or this experiencer, this ego self, you don't find out who is he truly, you cannot find out what is this world or what is God or what is happening here. When you know who you are, everything is resolved. You need not know anything else because there is nothing else to be known. கொஞ்சம் utopian dream மாதிரி இருக்கு சுவாமி. It's like an utopian dream. Okay, suffer then, go ahead, live your own life, find your own truth. Nobody stops now. See, in our Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, we don't push anything through anybody's throat. We don't want to convert anybody into anything. We are here to tell you, or tell the people what we feel like or what we have discovered. If you don't believe in, you need not believe in. Okay, you find yourself. Doesn't matter. If you find something higher, God bless you. So therefore, here, only when the I rises, the ego self, there rises everything. When the I subsides, everything subsides. That is why Bhagavan says, in Tamil I will read out this one particular line. I'm so fond of this line. He says, மனதில் தோன்றும் நினைவுகள் எல்லாவற்றிற்கும் நான் என்னும் நினைவே முதல் நினைவு. இது எழுந்த பிறகே ஏனைய நினைவுகள் எழுகின்றன. தன்மை தோன்றிய பிறகே முன்னிலை படர்க்கைகள் தோன்றுகின்றன. தன்மையின்றி முன்னிலை படர்க்கைகள் இரா. Tanmay means the first person, I. So only after the I rising, with reference to the first person, that is I call somebody as you, the second person. One who is far away, I say he, she, it. When the very first person, the very reference point is taken away, then how can I call somebody as you or he, she, it? See, you please think about this. It's a very subtle thought. See, we are very gross. We are unable to think. We can only appreciate Bollywood, dance and songs, because we have become very gross. It's a very subtle thought. When the very I is not, what is the question of you or he, she, it? Okay, we shall see it this way. Suppose you have a chronic disease, some very chronic disease, and you are bedridden, let us say. And the doctors have given up hope on you. They say, "Avalada mudinju pochu." And you are bedridden, and you are like a vegetable, and you know you are dying. I tell you, yadume rusikadu. You cannot appreciate anything. You cannot enjoy anything. And you will lose interest in everything. The wife, the children, or the world, the properties, wealth, these. Why? Because when I am there, everything has got some meaning. When I myself is dying, how does it matter? I tell you. When I myself is going, how does it matter whether the house remains or goes, or whether the wife or children or this or that? Please think about it. Only when you are there, you are very concerned about everything. When you are not there, how does it matter? I is everything. Please remember this. Only after the I rises, everything rises. When the I goes, nothing remains. The I is the central theme of our life, of our existence. Please understand. Which I? Don't worry about which I. I. And we have not given our thought, our attention to this I, which is a central theme of our existence. And we stupid people we are. We think God is the central theme of our existence. No! God is not the central theme of our existence. If God cannot help us, kick out that God. Who cares about God? How does it matter whether there is a God or not? I am the center of this universe. I am concerned only about myself. If somebody gives me some happiness, I'm concerned about them. Otherwise, not. Full stop. Only with respect to me, I, everything becomes meaningful. The wife becomes wife. The children become children. Mata, what is that? The mother becomes mother. When I is myself gone, how does it matter? So what is this I? This is the inquiry. I tell you, when you think about this, when you really get obsessed with this idea, you will not think about anything else. Because this is it. Therefore, without the first person, the reference of the first person, second and third person has got no meaning. So I alone is very important. Now, the 10th question. How will the mind becomes quiescent? Means quiet. By the inquiry, who am I? The thought, who am I, will destroy all other thoughts. And like the stick used for stirring the burning fire, pinam sudu tadi pole சொல்லுவார். It will itself in the end gets destroyed. Then there will arise self-realization. So he says, when the mind will become quiet, mind is nothing but the I arising from within. You inquire, who am I? From where this I is arising? That alone will destroy all the other thoughts and itself will be destroyed. The thought, who am I, also will be destroyed. Like the stick which is used to burn the dead bodies in the funeral, in the fire. It is used to burn the body and then it is thrown there. That also goes. So this inquiry, who am I, that destroys all the other thoughts, and that it also gets destroyed. And only the self shines. This is a unique approach revealed by Bhagavan, Sri Ramana Maharshi. But it was there even before. Adi Shankara asked in Bhajagovindam, Kastvam koham kuta ayataha, kame janani kome tataha, iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram, vishwam tyaktva swapna vichara. Who are you? Who am I? From where I have come? Who is my mother? Who is my father? Think about this, he says. Meaning, who am I? From where have I come? See, if you say, I have come out from the womb of my mother, then you are in only LKG, UKG. Today, Krishna was saying the same. It is not that I have come from the womb of my mother. No, this body has come out. But who are you really? Are you only just the body? No, you are something else. From where you have come? From where I have come? From where the world has come from? What is this happening here? What are we doing here? Running, earning something, spending, and then mating, procreating, and then growing old, decay, disease, death. And once again, the same tamasha. If you are a Hindu, you will believe in it, the reincarnation. If you are not a Hindu, thank God, you don't believe in anything, not even reincarnation. Eternally you are put into the hell, or eternally you are put into the heaven. But the thing is, what is this all about? So this is the inquiry. Who am I? Because I is important, not anything else in our lives. See, I want to, develop myself. I want to, my standard of living. I want to earn more. I want to put my child in the best of the schools. I want to save for my old age. I have to take care of myself. Whole life revolves around I. So the inquiry is, who am I? Who am I? Once again, I tell you, it is not a question so that you find an answer. It is giving attention to the self. By saying, who am I now turn my attention to the self. Self is the I. And then I keep the attention there so that the I, it subsides. From wherever it has come, it will go back. retracing the path. Bhagavan says, Vanda valiye po, Bhagavan says. From where you have come, the same way you go. We have come from here, go back. That is how it is said. So that is Atma Vichara. See, around 1999, 2000, I started going to Ramanashram, Tiruvannamalai. After finishing my course, I was posted in Sri Lanka. Somehow I got so fascinated by Bhagavan's philosophy, I started going. I was also not knowing. Nobody taught me what is the self-inquiry, how to go about. But one idea was Bhagavan has said something which is very, very unique and very profound. So what is this inquiry? How to go about? What is this? Who am I? What is this? Who am I? How to go about? And then after some time, I got hold of this Nisargadatta also. I am that. So then it helped. And then you have to die your own death. Nobody can help you. If that fire is burning within you, the inquiry, what is this? What is this? What is this? You try, you experiment, you try, you fail. Again you try. And when you stumble on the knack of the self-inquiry, my God, you are truly blessed. Then nothing else needs to be done. Thank God. Nothing else needs to be done. That is only a small sutchumam dhaan irukku. Adu ennaangra sutchumam vilanganum. The knack, what it is, when it is clear in your mind, you need not do anything else. Just give attention again and again from where this I thought is arrived. And then slowly everything will turn topsy-turvy. The world, what you have been observing, is not anymore the same. It's not the same. It is something else. The experiencer and the experienced, when that loses its sway on you, it's a different ball game altogether. So therefore, we have to experiment. We may fail again and again, doesn't matter. Because one day, out of divine grace, when we stumble upon what it is, then there is no going back. There is no looking back. Then you can throw all the scriptures. You can throw all gods. You can throw all gurus. You can throw yourself also into the dustbin. You can throw yourself also. There is nothing except the self. And the self is very auspicious. And the self is all blissful. And it is totally fulfilling. Nothing can satisfy us. Only the infinite can satisfy. The finite can never satisfy. So therefore, this inquiry is everything. And once when this is conducted, you will not find out any answer. Who am I? Who am I? You will not find out any answer. Please. There will be nobody to tell who am I. That is the prasadam of the inquiry. See, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, once a salt doll, it wanted to know the depth of the ocean. So it has jumped into the ocean, it is going deep to find out the depth of the ocean. What will happen? The salt doll can never come back. It's gone once and for all. Similarly, this inquiry is not to come back and tell, yes, I have found out, I am Satchidananda Swarupam. No. If you come back and say, I am Satchidananda Swarupam, go again and do self-inquiry. Like in Taittiriya Upanishad said, no, it's not enough. Go and do tapas. It is not there to come back and say, Aham Brahmasmi. No. See, we are seeing a lot of films, especially some drama films. And there in our old films, they show us Rishi means with Dadi and all is sitting. In Samadhi means, years he's sitting in Samadhi. And then Aham Brahmasmi. That is not spirituality, saying Aham Brahmas. There should be nobody to say anything. Meaning that experiencer is gone once and for all. And our Acharya says, the experience without the experiencer is the truth, he says. But Swamiji, without the experiencer, how can there be an experience? You only just now told, without I, there is nothing. Hare Rama, that experience is not an experience. It is Brahman only. When the I is gone, whatever remains is Brahman only. Our idea of Brahman is mass of consciousness. Everything goes away. That is not the idea. Everything. Muzhuvadum unmai, yam ariyom. Sri Yoga Swami says, Muzhuvadum unmai, yam ariyom. Meaning, whatever seen, whatever heard, whatever tasted, touched, everything is Brahman only. There is nothing other than Brahman. Sarvam kaluvidam Brahma. It is not that Brahman means something else. Whatever now we are seeing is Brahman only. Hearing is Brahman only. Everything is Brahman only, but out of Brahma, we don't know. We think everything is something else, separate from each other, something else. Anyamaha irukku namakku. But when the experiencer, the ego self goes, then the realization happens, Hare Rama, everything is Brahman. There is nothing other than Brahman. So therefore, here, this inquiry, see, we are spending so much of time on so many things. If we understand this is the only thing, then what we should do? We should give everything for this. Sarva karma parityag. We have to give everything for this. Heart and soul for this. And we will never regret. See, Bhagavan was teaching, Bhagavan was telling this to everybody. Once a devotee asked, Bhagavan, you are giving out this to ordinary, a villager. What can he understand? He is not matured enough to get this knowledge from you. He said, no. If it goes into him, it will work. Not only that, if he is serious about this inquiry, that inquiry itself will give him pakwa, that maturity. That itself will give him purity of heart, chitta shuddhi. That itself will give everything to him. So therefore, whether you are an illiterate or an educated or a scholar, whoever you are, you start somewhere. Whatever you understand about this inquiry, and be sincere about it. Then I tell you, you will never regret. Because this is the thing. Okay, now, how will the mind becomes quiescent? That we have seen. By the inquiry, who am I? The thought, who am I, will destroy all other thoughts. And like the stick used for stirring the burning fire, it will itself in the end get destroyed. Then there will arise self-realization. 11th question. What is the time?
8:05.
What is the means for constantly holding on to the thought, who am I? See? How to constantly inquire, who am I, who am I? வேற வேலையே கிடையாது நமக்கு. யார் சமைக்கிறது, சாப்பிடுறது, யார் வேலைக்கு போறது. இப்போ பார், who am I, who am I, who am I? How to do this? Bhagavan says, see, Bhagavan is a very strict disciplinarian, tough teacher actually. Bhagavan lived his life like that. What he says, if you are a true seeker, when other thoughts arise, one should not pursue them, but should inquire, to whom do they arise? It does not matter how many thoughts arise. As each thought arises, one should inquire with diligence, to whom has this thought arisen? The answer that would emerge would be, to me. Thereupon, if one inquires, who am I? The mind will go back to its source, and the thought that arose will become quiescent. With repeated practice in this manner, the mind will develop the skill to stay in the source. Source means the heart, spiritual heart. When the mind that is subtle goes out through the brain and the sense organs, the gross names and forms appear. When it stays in the heart, the names and forms disappear. See what Bhagavan says, whenever thoughts rises, whenever thoughts rise in your heart, again and again inquire, to whom this thought? To me. Who am I? And then give attention from where this I thought is rising. The mind will develop a knack of staying in the heart. And then he says, this is a very important step. When the mind comes out, when it functions through the brain and the sense organs, the world of names and forms appear. When the mind, when it dissociates itself from the sense organ and the brain and abides in the source, the heart, the names and forms disappears. Names and forms, as names and forms disappear. The names and forms are nothing but Brahman only. Brahman means undivided consciousness only it is. Now it appears to be divided between the seer and the seen. Now when the mind subsides in the heart, then no more names and forms. When the mind functions through the brain and the sense organs, then the names and forms. When the mind withdraws and goes into the heart, then there are no names and forms. When there are no names and forms, what remains is, what is that? Satchidananda. What is that? Priyam, Bhati, Priyam. What is it? Asti, Bhati, Priyam. Asti, Bhati, Priyam, Nama, Rupam. These are the 5 aspects of the world. So Asti means that is the existence. Bhati means the consciousness. Priyam means here, Priyam is bliss only is called as Priyam. Because we love only that which gives us happiness. So, and Nama Rupa means names and forms. In these 5, names and forms are only imagined. It's not truth. But Asti Bhati Priyam is the source, is the self. So, when the names and forms disappear, what remains is the self only. So, the mind which rises and functioning through the hardware called as the brain and the sense organ, it creates an illusion of names and forms. When the mind, when it disappears into the heart, then the names and forms disappears. And the Asti Bhati Priyam, that's that Adhisthana, that substratum, the self remains. See, this is the truth. So when the mind that is subtle goes out through the brain and the sense organs, the gross names and forms appear. When it stays in the heart, the names and forms disappear. Not letting the mind go out, but retaining it in the heart is what is called as antarmukha, or inwardness. Letting the mind go out of the heart is known as bahirmukha, externalization. Thus, when the mind stays in the heart, the I, which is the source of all thoughts, will go, and the self, the true self, which ever exists, will shine. Whatever one does, one should do without the egoity I. If one acts in that way, all will appear as of the nature of Shiva, the Lord, God. So it's very clearly said now, when the mind rises out of the heart, then it is Bahirmukha. Then the world of names and forms. When the mind abides in the heart, then there is only the self. The true self shines. The ego self vanishes. The true self shines. So, when the Mahajnani, one who is abiding in the heart, when he looks out, he sees only the self. Meaning, you know what? If you go in front of that Mahatma, he will recognize you as who you are. He will know your wife, children. He will know about your past, future also. But somehow his experience is, you are not other. You are not separate. and everything is one, everything is self. This is a mystery. Only when the ego self is destroyed, this is revealed. Otherwise, it is not revealed. It is not that if you go in front of a Mahatma who is self-realized, names and forms has disappeared. Oh, I am not seeing anything. எனக்கு கதவு எங்க இருக்குன்னு தெரியல, பாத்ரூம்ல முட்டி போனாவா, I don't know where to go out. Everything is gone. Everything is mass of consciousness. No. No. He knows everything. He knows about the past, present, future. My God, he knows everything. Once somebody asked Bhagavan, Bhagavane, இப்படி உப்பு குறைச்சிருக்கு கூட எல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு தெரியுதே, எல்லாம் ஒண்ணுன்னு சொல்றீங்க உங்களுக்கு. The salt, when it is not sufficient in the sambar, you are able to tell. Bhagavan laughed, it seems. What do you mean to say? Self-realization, உப்பு சரியால ஒன்றும் தெரியாம போயிடுமா? We have such wonderful ideas about self-realization. No? Everything disappears. நீங்க தானே சுவாமி சொல்றீங்க சார், and forms disappear now. Names and forms, as names and forms disappear. See, that is why our Acharya is a genius. He tells the sense of separateness, the sense of otherness disappears. See, certain things, what he says, we may not understand. I have got great reverence for our Acharya. The more I grow in spiritual understanding, I revere him like anything. Whatever he says is the truth. He says the experience without the experiencer. And then he says, it is the sense of separateness and sense of otherness disappears. Nothing else. It is no vritti vyapti, no phala vyapti, but only vritti vyapti. These are very significant statements, actually. So therefore, this Mahatma, when he is awakened, his experience is everything is self. At the same time, he can transact in the world also in a much subtle and better way than you and I. Because he has no likes and dislikes. He has no bheda bhava. He has only love and compassion. So therefore, if you inquire deeply, when the mind subsides in the heart, when the ego I, when it disappears, the true I, the self shines in its glory. And there, whatever one does, one should do without the egoity. So that shine, that self shines. So here, another thing he is giving. Whatever we do in the world outside, we have to do without the sense of agency, that I. செய்வதெல்லாம் இங்கே தானின்றி செய்வார் சித்தர்களாம் என்று ஊதேடா சங்கம். Subramanya Bharati says, செய்வதெல்லாம் தானின்றி செய்வார் சித்தர்களாம் இங்கு ஊதேடா சங்கம். He does everything without the idea that I am doing. Because when the sense of agency goes, when the ego goes, the sense of agency goes. The doership and the enjoyership goes. So if you want to reach that state, what you should do? Whenever you are functioning in the world, don't worry who is doing. I am not doing. That's all. Whether God is doing or he is doing, she is, I don't care. I am not the doer. Full stop. Ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. If you feel that I am doing, you are a vimudhatma. Not ordinary muda, vimuda. Visheshamana muda. Muda shironmani. So whenever we feel I am doing, so therefore, whatever you do it without the idea of I am the doer. If one acts in that way, all will appear as of the nature of the Shiva, means the Lord, means the truth. So we will stop here because next one is very interesting. Are there no other means for making the mind quiet? The next question, okay, you are talking about self-inquiry. We agree. Are there no other means? Bhagavan says there are other means, but they can only help you to some extent. But you have to inquire. You have to find out the source of all thoughts. You have to find out who you are. Bhagavan vidamatar. திருப்பி அதே தான் சொல்ல போறார். But we will stop here. Later, whenever we get time in the future, we may see the rest of the question and answer. Very interesting. But this is the core of his teaching. So therefore, when you inquire, who am I? The mind subsides in the heart. The ego I disappears. நான் ஒன்று தானத்து நானான் என்றொன்றது தானாகத் தோன்றுமே உந்தீபர. தானது பூன்றமாம் உந்தீபர. When this I, the ego I, when it subsides in the heart, நானான் என்றொன்றது தானாகத் தோன்றும். The true self reveals itself. You need not know it. It reveals itself. When you try to know it, then you are trying to catch the pig's tail. The experiencer is born, and then they experience the Triputi, and then everything is gone. So you should not try to know it. You be there. Inquire, who am I? And be there. Atma samstam manakritva kinchidavi na chintayet. Having placed the mind in the heart, don't think about anything. Don't initiate any other thoughts. Don't kinchidavi na chintayet. No, don't think about anything else. Sometimes you may think, manam podingish. Na brahmagyani aite. இதெல்லாம் cartoon of spirituality. Brahmagyani யாருமே கிடையாது உலக. There is only Brahmagyanam. There is no Brahmagyani. It's only ஒரு உபச்சாரத்துக்கு சொல்றது Brahmagyaniன்னு ஒருத்தர். There is no Brahmagyani. There is only Brahmagyanam. Because there is no Vyakti. There is no individual. There is no individual. Therefore, don't think about anything. Don't even think about moksha. Because you are never bound. See, this is the truth. You are never bound. So if you think you want moksha, you are in ignorance. If you think you are moksha, already you have agreed, you have accepted that you are in ignorance. Already you have accepted that you are a jiva. Already you have fallen. Then how can you rise? So Ashtavakra says, don't ever think you are bound. Don't ever think there is a liberation. Therefore, don't ever think you need to do some sadhana. Wait, I will finish. So therefore, see, ஒரு லெவலுக்கு இப்படி போகலாம். அதுக்கு மேலே போயாச்சுன்னா வேற அது எல்லாமே. This is the problem. Some acharyas say, wherever you are, you have to start from there. That is agreed. But when you start from there, wherever you are, and go on doing certain things, go on. You be a hero and just get out of it and assert your true self, saying that I am Nitya Muktaha. There is no bondage, there is no liberation. This is the final stage where you should assert again and again that there is no bondage, there is no jiva, there is no liberation, there is nothing to be done, nowhere to go, nothing to prove. When we don't take this standpoint, we get into the chakra. Again and again I tell you, we get into the chakra. See, off late, I'm listening to our Acharya Swami Anubhavanji. He is talking in a very different way, actually. And that is the truth. People may say, misunderstand. When you go to a certain point, then that is the way out. Otherwise, you get into the chakra. I am bound. What sadhana should I do? Where should I go? Which guru should I seek? Blah, 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 blah. Then Puranayama, Pratyahara, Dhyana, Dharana, Samadhi, these, that. Gone. Actually speaking, you are aware of something or other. In the deep sleep, somehow, as if there is no awareness of anything. Please mark my word, as if there is no awareness of anything. In the waking state, instead of being aware of something or other, if you are just aware, that is it. Aware of what? Be aware. இதுதான் கஷ்டம். கஷ்டகாலம் தான். Be aware. Meaning what? It's not being aware of something or other. It is just being awake and being aware and nothing to be known. அறிவதற்கு ஒன்றில்லை உந்தீபர. அறிவதற்கு ஒன்றுமில்லை உந்தீபர. அறிவதற்கு ஒன்று மட்டும் இல்லை, எங்கேயும் போய் அடையறதுக்கு ஒன்றும் இல்லை. There is nowhere to reach. There is nothing to achieve. This is the final truth. போக்கும் வரவும் புணர்வும் இல்லா புண்ணியனே. There is no going anywhere or coming. There is nothing. So just be yourself. And that is the highest state of existence. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Namaha. Harihi Om.